Welcome. That's better. Welcome to episode 1 of Slightly Cloudy with a Chance of News. So, if you watched the last WhatsApp, or was it a short? I think it was a WhatsApp that I put up. Yeah, the times they are a-changing. By the way, Vaporresso sent a big box. It's the Christmas box. It's sitting over there. I'm going to be doing a separate video. For the big Christmas box from the folks over at Dojo/Vaporresso. They seem to be pushing the whole Dojo thing now. Hold on. Come here, you. Here we go. It's a bloody big box. I've already opened it, by the way. It's really heavy. I think it's a porcelain coffee jug, a little wooden Christmas tree thing, a huge throw-over blanket, which is really warm and fluffy, and some Christmassy decorated cutlery and stuff. It's a big box. But yeah, this is episode 1 of Slightly Cloudy with a Chance of News. Turns out that was the winner in the poll, so I did put a poll up to vote for the name for the new news series of videos that's going to be on this channel, because the reviews are slowly taking a back seat, because I've basically told most companies to go and F themselves because I'm not reading their script anymore. I never did read the script to begin with, coming to think of it. Just go and watch the last WhatsApp. It gives a good explanation. Essentially, about 90% of the vape companies just don't want to send me review samples because I'm not reading their script out. That's what reviews have basically turned into in the UK. Probably for most... Shut up, phone. Probably for most of Europe as well. They want you to hit bullet points. They want you to mention it's the best chip, it's the best flavour, it's the best this, it's the best... That's not a review. It's an advert. It's an advert. And there is numerous reviewers being caught up in that trap. I'm not one of them. I'm still in tentative talks, by the way, with Sourcemore, so at least I'm going to get some review samples over. It's not going to be the latest and greatest, folks, but it's going to be some review samples of some of the newest stuff that Sourcemore are stocking. I'm still in talks with them, though. So, Slightly Cloudy with a Chance of News. What's this going to be all about? It's going to be about news. That's basically what it comes down to. There is essentially, at least with all the big reviewers out there, in the UK at least, all the big reviewers out there, there's nobody talking about what's coming down the road. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. And I said in the last WhatsApp, what the UK essentially needs is its own version of Grim Green, just without the subscriber numbers and the money. Don't have the subscriber numbers and they sure as fuck don't have the money. So... So episode 1 is laying the groundwork of what do we know so far. So let's actually just jump straight into this. This is what we know so far, right? I'm going to bring this in. And this is all happening from January the 1st. Basically, New Year. It's happening at the very end of this year. January the 1st, the main new vaping regulation will be in the United Kingdom. It will basically replace the current Tobacco Products Directive, the old TPD under the EU, where a new tax on e-liquids is scheduled to begin. The ban on disposable vapes across the UK took effect on June 2025, with businesses given until January 1st, 2026. And this is the wrong one, Vic. It's that one there. Bloody hell, I haven't done this for ages. There we go. This is the big stumbling block that a lot of people weren't realising. The importation ban happened in June of this year. June of this year. That's where no new disposables could come into the country for the sole purpose of being sold on the retail market in the UK. But if you look in some, not all, some Tesco's, and you look in some chemists, and you look at some corner shops and some petrol stations, you're still seeing disposables being sold. It's old stock, people. It's old stock. The trick that a lot of the big companies done, especially Tesco, the trick that a lot of big companies done is they made a massive bulk order. They knew this law was going to come into effect because it wasn't any secret anymore. They knew that the deadline for importation for retail purposes was going to be in June of 2025. Tesco, Asda and a couple of the big petrol conglomerates, they ordered shiploads. Not joking, literal cargo shiploads of disposables from Shenzhen in China the month before the deadline hit. Takes roughly 20 days for an expedited cargo container shipment if that entire cargo ship is booked under the same company. Tesco done it. I know that for a fact. Tesco done it because, again, it was all over LinkedIn. One entire cargo ship stacked, literally stacked. I think it was like 4 high, straight across the entire deck, nothing but disposables inside, and it was distributed to all of the major Tesco warehouses up and down the country. They're now running out of stock. Only now are they running out of stock. So if you see your local corner shop, your local Tesco, your local petrol station selling disposables, from the 1st of January, they're breaking the law. Because the 1st of January is the real disposable ban. What we're looking at right now is only the retail importation ban. The actual disposable ban hits on January 1st of next year. Not a lot of people knew that. They all thought that when June 2025 hit, that was it. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. This is why I've been saying to a lot of vape shops, especially independent vape shops, who are looking at the industry right now in the UK, and they're still seeing their old customers walking in front of their shop, chugging on a disposable, but they're not able to get the new disposables in. They're buying them from Tesco, that's why. But from the 1st of January, the remnants of the disposable users up and down the country, and there's probably still about 1 million of them still left, the remnants of the disposable users will walk into their local Tesco, their local corner shop, their local Asda, and they will see the shelves empty. Empty. Because from the 1st of January, the actual ban hits. And this is why I've been saying to a lot of corner shops, start getting your stock in of simple pod kits. Simple pod kits. Don't go for the flashy screen ones. If I get any kicking around here on the table, no I don't, because they're all over there somewhere. Don't go for the flashy screen ones. Go for the simple ones. Simple button operation. You don't want variable wattage, you don't want menus, you want a simple button that people press to turn the thing on, and you want a simple pod that people can fill up. The more simple pod that you can get to stock in your shop for the remnants of the disposable users who will be sitting there on January 1st, New Year's Day, walking into the local Tesco, not knowing that the ban's actually hitting because Tesco is not making it public, along with the rest of the shops that are still selling disposables, they're going to panic. And where are they going to go? Their local vape shop. Their local vape shop. Stock simple pod devices. Don't go for the flashy screen ones. Don't go for the overly expensive ones. Simple pod devices. No screen, button press. That's all you need to get the remnants of the disposable users off the disposables, back onto pods, and back into your shop. That's what you want to do, folks. I've been saying that to a lot of people that have been messaging me. Fully remove all stock. United States, skip the US because Grim Green covers that. UK regulations for 2026, new vaping products duty, the VPD. This is the big one. Effective date, a new excise duty on e-liquids will take effect on October the 1st of 2026. Tax rate. The duty will be a flat rate of £2.20 per 10 ml of e-liquid, regardless of nicotine strength. In other words, it can be 0 milligrams, no nicotine. It will still be slapped with the £2.20 tax on every 10ml. This is why long fills like this, and I've started ordering long fills now from Drake's. Big shout out to Drake's, by the way. Had a nice long conversation with Drake's owner over the phone. Very nice chap. Very nice chap. But yeah, this is Drake's long fills. So this is Burley long fill, as you can see. It's just flavouring sloshing around in the bottle. It's just flavouring. Even this is going to be taxed. For every 10ml of flavouring in there. And I think Drake's is running at 20ml flavouring. So there's going to be £4.40, roughly speaking, of tax slapped on top of their long fill because there's 20 millilitres of flavouring in an otherwise empty bottle. When it comes to short fills that have got about, this is Black Vine, by the way, from Rochford Project, short fill. When it comes to short fills that are up to about here with a little bit of space at the top, so that's 10ml, that's £2.20, that's 10ml, that's another £2.20, that's another £2.20, and that's another. You know where this is going. Short fills are going to be priced out of the market, especially these. Oh, by the way, this is Rochford Project's new flavour, Sunburst. Review of this is hopefully going to be up next week. But the 100ml short fills, they're going to be gone. They're going to be gone because when you look at a 100ml short fill, about 90ml, roughly speaking, 90ml of that is all liquid. This is going to be taxed at £2.20 per 10ml, and there's 90 millilitres of liquid. Yeah, your 100ml bottles are gone. They're gone. There's no way anyone can stock 100ml bottles after October the 1st, 2026. And expect to make any kind of sales from this. The smaller bottles might stand a chance, but you're still going to be looking at roughly £6 tax slapped on top of these. Double it, probably triple it for the 100ml short fill bottle. These are going to be gone. Going to be gone. It's the one biggest change that's going to be affecting the industry at the end of this year. Tax rate, we've covered that. Duty stamps, oh, see, now it gets worse. From October 1st, 2026, manufacturers and importers must apply a new duty stamp to all retail packaging of vaping products to prove the tax has been paid. Manufacturer registration. Manufacturers and importers of e-liquid must register with HM Revenue and Customs, HMRC, and can begin applying for approval from April the 1st, 2026, which happens to be the very end of the current tax year and the beginning of the next tax year. Let's get rid of you and let's drag in number 2, shall we? Here we go. Drag you in like that. So this is the continuation. Disposable vape ban. Let's make that a bit smaller. There we go. The ban on the sale and supply of single-use vapes officially began on the June 1st. Stock removal. We're in the stock removal phase. While the ban is already in force, it is illegal for businesses to possess disposable stock for sale after January 1st. Retailers must arrange for proper recycling of any leftover stock. What you're probably going to see on the run up to the back end, the last half of December this year, any Tesco, any petrol station, any corner shop, especially Tesco and the petrol stations, you're going to see them start to sell off their stock by the box load, because that's what a lot of vape shops were doing on the run up to the June ban. But what you're going to see, if there's any Tesco's left out there, they're going to be selling literally boxes, and normally for a retail box of disposables, there's usually 20 in that box, 20 disposables. They're going to be selling them by the box load just to get them out the door before the ban. That way, they don't need to worry about disposing of them. It's up to the consumer to dispose them. Even if they sell them at a massive loss, they want them out the door. That's what's probably going to happen. Reusable vapes. Businesses can continue to sell reusable vapes, pod kits basically, but these must have a rechargeable battery, replaceable coil, and be refillable. Pod kits essentially. Or stuff like this. Or stuff like this, since I've got this in my hand. Black Vine on a freshly re-wicked Nightmare RTA, and I'm still using the Hog, the Mini Hog. Oh, Blackvine, additional measures under the Tobacco and Vapes Bill. A wider range of regulations is being introduced in 2026 and beyond under the Tobacco and Vapes Bill. Restrictions on advertising, flavours and packaging to limit appeal to children. A new retail licensing scheme in England, Wales and Northern Ireland for selling tobacco and vape products. Stricter enforcement with fines for retailers selling vapes for those under 18. We all knew those were coming in, but what these sheets are not telling you is the other stuff that's going on in the background. And that's the reason that this weekly, probably twice a week, at the beginning anyway, probably twice a week, that's the reason that this news episodic thing is going to be up on this channel every week. There is a lot of movers and shakers currently in the background. As the last What's Up already covered, they're already taking a look at reviewers and influencers who are taking backhanders. Most of it happened during the Disposable era. Some of it is still going on just now. They're already taking a look at some of the more unscrupulous ways that marketing and sales teams for some of the large Shenzhen companies are trying to sell their new pod kits, mostly to independent vape shops, and in some cases flat out lying what their pod kit is actually capable of. Not going to name the company, might name them later on depending on what kind of mood I'm in. They're already looking at the money trail that's been going on in the background to do with not only the influencers, not only the reviewers, but the money trail that's going on in the background to do with the importation and more especially some aspects of the distribution of strictly illegal vapes. Now, considering that practically everything under the current rules is practically kind of technically illegal, what this basically means is stuff like this, your big capacity tanks, there's going to be a major clampdown coming soon in 2026. We all knew it was coming. There's been whispers about it in the background, and the whispers have been getting louder and louder and louder on LinkedIn. Up until this point in time, in fact, it's not this point in time, up until the Labour Party came into power, we've had it easy. Even Rishi Sunak's original tobacco and vapes bill was being severely cut down during Rishi Sunak's last 6 months in power, because Sunak himself realised that he was angering too many people and too many businesses. The trouble with the current Labour Party is they have got such a massive majority. Keir Starmer doesn't care. And it's not just the fact that Keir Starmer doesn't care. The all-party parliamentary group to do with responsible vaping is no longer listening to UK VIA. John Dunn has essentially been blackballed from any of those meetings. And UK VIA's place is the biggest backstabbing bunch of bastards ever assembled. The IBVTA. The other trade group, who was at the back heel of UK VIA for a very, very long time, and for the most part was basically ignored by most people, including myself. They managed to weasel their way into the all-party parliamentary group to do with responsible vaping. They want short fills gone. They want long fills gone. They want tighter restrictions, and in some cases some of their members want pre-filled pods banned. Why? So their shithead little companies can sell more little 10ml TPD bottles of liquid in their shitty little shops. Now you realise why things are bad. Now you probably realise why a lot of reviewers and a lot of influencers aren't actually talking about this, because I am stepping into the middle of a minefield right now. I'm going to name companies. Name names. A lot of people are going to be pissed off. I don't give a shit. I don't. I honestly don't give a shit. 90% of the companies don't talk to me anymore because I'm not following their script, and the other 10% that do talk to me generally play nice in the grand scheme of things when it comes to the industry in the UK. The other 90% can go fuck themselves because I don't care anymore. I honestly don't. We're getting to the stage now where the countdown is about to begin, and that countdown begins on January the 1st, and the first shots fired by this new bill is twofold. Number one, the Tobacco Products Directive, or the old TRPR as we all know it, is generally being lapsed. Some of it is going to be folded into the new bill that's going to be coming into major effect on January the 1st. The second shot being fired is the complete and total ban of any retail sales of disposables. The roughly 1 million people left in the UK who don't know this ban is coming up, they're going to walk into their local Tesco, their local corner shop, or maybe even their local vape shop. Some vape shops were actually savvy enough to actually order in a crap load of disposables before the importation ban takes place. But they're going to walk into those shops and find the shelves empty. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to their local vape shop. If you are a local vape shop in a relatively large-sized town, do yourself a favour. Hit the wholesalers and get your hands on a good number of simple button-fire pod kits. Don't go for the flashy screens. Don't go for the hype. Don't go for the marketing. Target your audience, people. And the audience is going to be disposable users, lost, dazed, and slightly confused. That's going to be your customer base for the next 6 months. At least 6 months. Again, you won't find any of the reviewers saying this out loud. We need a Grim Green who's not as well off as Grim Green and doesn't have as many subscribers. I'm your man. Simple as that. And plus, I don't give a fuck anymore. I honestly don't. It's the little angry Vic that was running this channel back 11 years ago. He's now back in the seat again. He's now back in the seat. Anyway, this is the video laying the groundwork of what's coming next year. Subsequent episodes of this news podcast, which will be kicking off in earnest midway through December. This is just laying the foundation, right? But the main broadcasts or the main recordings will be taking place halfway through next month. We'll be looking to the future. We'll be looking at rumours that are circulating on LinkedIn, especially during the weekend when half of them come back drunk and start all over the keyboard. Because some of it might be fantasy. Some of it might be the drunken ramblings of some CEO, but there's always a seed of truth in what they're rambling about. Especially that last ramble that I covered in the WhatsApp. There is going to be mainly influencers in the UK who are going to find a knock on the door. And when they open that door, it's going to be the tax man. And that tax man is going to be demanding a lot of money from said influencers. And if said influencers don't pay up, you're going to jail. Don't pass go. Don't collect £200. See ya. Again, I don't give a fuck. They deserve it, quite frankly. So, stay tuned, people. Right now, there's nothing much going on. There's nothing being tacked on to the current bill because January 1st has to hit first, so the bill's open back up for the Labour to start tacking more crap onto it. My worry is the all-party parliamentary group to do with responsible vaping, because they are currently sitting at the table with the IBVTA, who are not in it for the consumer, not in it for consumer rights, not in it for consumer choice, not in it for anything to do with the consumer. You can throw a lot of criticisms at UKVIA, and trust me, I have thrown a lot of criticisms at John Dunn and UKVIA. But the one thing about UKVIA is they're a broad spectrum. They've got e-liquid manufacturers, e-liquid sellers, independent vape shops, vape shop chains, massive manufacturers, small manufacturers. They're a broad church. So John Dunn's got to walk a thin line with what's going on. UKVIA don't want to see the short fills go. UKVIA don't want to see a proposed ban on long fills, which is already tabled, by the way, people. It's been tabled. The all-party parliamentary group, one of their secretaries contacted me after that last WhatsApp and said, Vic, watch your last WhatsApp. The long fill ban has been put on the table already. Told you. Someone's got to keep an eye on all of this shit, and I guess it's going to be me. So there we go, folks. If you want to support me, link to Patreon or Subscribestar is down there. It'll help keep the electricity on, literally, because it was actually cut last weekend. No, in fact, it was 2 weekends ago, I think. Couldn't afford the bill, essentially. And there we go, folks. There will be a very quick review of this lovely liquid coming up sometime next week, hopefully, if I can get the cameras working again. And the actual show, this show, starts in earnest halfway through December, basically in about 2 weeks' time. This is just laying the foundation so you know what's coming. That's it from me, folks. Have a good one.